Good morning, third grade. Miss Vogelman here for your math lesson. Let's begin by sharing my screen. Okay. So today we are going to be doing some more work with pictographs. Today is November the 4th. Our learning target today will be that the students will build a pictograph and answer questions about the graph. Before we do, let's watch the following video on pictographs. Before we do, let me adjust my volume so that you can hear it.
Make a map. How many books have you read this month, Moby? I'm making a pictograph that shows how many books people read. Let's see. You read 2 books. What is a pictograph? A pictograph is a graph that organizes and shows information using pictures. The title tells you what the pictograph is about. This graph shows how many books people read. The labels show the names of people and the number of books each person read. This is the key. No, not that kind of key. The key explains what each picture stands for. According to this key, 1 star on the graph stands for 1 book. Count the stars to find out how many books each person read. I read 1, 2, 3 books. Becca read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. Becca is a bookworm. Here's a pictograph that shows people's favorite subjects. What subject do people like best? Each pencil stands for 1 vote. Math got the most votes. 8 people said it was their favorite subject. Which subject got 3 votes? Right, Moby. Social studies got 3 votes. This pictograph shows people's favorite color. Each paintbrush stands for 2 votes. How many people like blue? You can skip count the pictures by 2 to count the votes. 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 people chose blue as their favorite color. How many people chose green as their favorite color? There's half a paintbrush there. Since a whole paintbrush stands for 2 votes, half a paintbrush must stand for 1 vote. So 1 person chose green as their favorite color. Cool, it's lunchtime. How can you make a pictograph? I'm starving. Should I get an apple or a pear? Which fruit do you like best? Let's take a survey about what type of fruit people like best. A survey is a list of questions used to collect information or opinions. You like bananas the best. So do a lot of other kids. You can record information from your survey into a tally chart. You organize tally marks into groups of 5 so they're easier to count. There There are 5, 10, 15 tally marks. How many people like pears the best? Start with 5, then count on 2. 6, 7. 7 people like pears the best. You can use information from the tally chart to make a pictograph. First, draw a chart with 2 columns. Write the title and write the choices on the left. Then, create your key and pick a simple picture to stand for your votes. I'm going to use a smiley face. One smiley face will stand for 1 vote. Then, I fill in the pictograph. Since 10 people voted for apples, I draw 10 smiley faces in the graph. 7 people liked pears, so I draw 7 smiley faces in the graph. 2 people voted for grapes. 6 people voted for bananas. Pictographs help organize and show data or information so you can understand it better. Which fruit got the most votes? Apple. How many more votes did pears get than grapes? 5 more people voted for pears than grapes. You can also show the same information in a different way. Whoa, Moby, that's a lot of fruit. Are you going to share? Thanks, Moby.
Okay, so that was to give you a little bit of an idea of more about making a pictograph. So today we're going to work on one together. So let me get to my pictograph. Okay, so here is our pictograph we're going to work on today. And our title to our pictograph is the number of students at Elm Street School. So here is our table or our survey that we took. We can also call it a tally chart. This particular table lists the grades in the school and the number of students within each grade level. So kindergarten has 35 students, and first grade has 40, second grade has 25, third grade has 35, and fourth grade has 30. Now, they've started kindergarten for us. The first thing we're going to do before we start on first grade, of course, is to look at the key. We have to know how much each of these pictures is worth to know how many we need to draw for the next grade level. So our key tells us that each smiley face equals 10 students, okay? So 35, 10, 20, 30, and then half of one is half of 10, which is 5. All right, so let me get my pen. So now our next one, first grade has 40. So we have to think about if each smiley face is worth 10, how many do we have to draw to make 40? So we would count by tens, and Miss Fogelman's going to try her very best to do this. 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, so my smiley faces look a little rough, but 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, now the next one, grade 2, has 25. So we have to do 10, 20. Now, if I put another one, that'll make 30. So I have to think about how can I make just one that represents 5? So again, just like they did here, we would draw half of a smiley face. So I just have one eye and one nose, okay? And then third grade had 35, just like kindergarten. So we would do 3.5 smileys. All right, then fourth grade has 30. So that would just be 10, 20, 30. All right, very small school. All righty, so now we're going to use, now that we've drawn our pictograph, we're going to use it to talk about some of our questions, okay? So, how are the pictograph and the table alike? Okay, so the pictograph and the table both give us information about Elm Street School. Okay, they both give us the same information, which is the grade and the number of students. How are the pictograph and the table different? Well, the table gives us our information in standard numbers, right? The pictograph gives us the information in the form of a drawing. So we're getting the same information, it just looks in like two different ways. What is the purpose of the pictograph's key? Okay, remember the key, which is right here, okay? The key tells us how much each picture is worth, okay? So without the key, we wouldn't know if the smiley face was worth 1, 2, 15, okay? So it really depends on, we really have to look at that key in order to know how much each picture is worth. All right, our next question says, describe how you would find the total number of students at Elm Street School. Okay, so if it's asking us for the total number of students at the school, what would we have to do? Well, we would have to add these numbers together to figure out how many total kids are in the entire school. So our last question asks us just that question. How many students are there at Elm Street School? So if you used your table, you would merely add these numbers together. We would add 2 together, add the total to the next one, and so on. But since we have this great pictograph that we've drawn, let's use that. And my way of using that would be to count by tens, okay? So we have, first I'm going to count all the full smileys. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140, 150. Now we go back and we get our half smileys. Well, if I put these two halves together, I get a whole 10, right? So that's 160 kids. And then I have this last half, which is 5. So our total is 165 kids. Do you see how easy it was to skip count using the pictures rather than having to add all the numbers together? Okay, all right. Go back to my slides. All righty. There is an exit ticket on pictographs in Shobi. It's a worksheet where you need to create your own pictograph and answer the questions. So make sure you do that. Just a few reminders. Make sure you use the key to know how much each picture is going to be worth, and make sure you remember that half of that picture means half of that number. All right, everyone. Thank you and have a great day. And don't forget to get that work done in Shobi.